I think that they play the way they should play. And no, I'm not going to I'm not going to worry about the details. I'm not a details guy. We're talking big picture. I'm a big ideas guy. So that's what we're going for. All right. So first faction we have here is Adeptus Sororitas. Now this one's really easy for me. It is in my not so humble opinion that Adeptus Sororitas just are fundamentally wrong in 10th edition. Wrong. They make them far too elite. And they've been, tweaking the points up a bit, tweaking the points down a bit, all that kind of bollocks. But at the end of the day, they're far too elite. Sisters of Battle should be somewhere between Guard and Space Marines. And frankly, whenever I see a Sisters of Battle army, it always looks like it's got the same amount of models as a Space Marine army. And yeah, those models are very capable and everything, but no. They should be somewhere between Guard and Space Marines. They should be not a Horde army, but they should be more Horde than Space Marines. I know, but the models are so expensive. No, I'm not taking that into account. 3D print it. Okay? 3D print it. So, what I would do is firstly, I don't know, man. I'd probably get rid of Miracle Dice. I think it's a shit mechanic. Anytime when you can just sub a dice in and remove dice rolling from a fucking game about dice rolling, just get rid of that. They got rid of it for Eldar. It made the faction way more Eldar are really powerful, but people don't bitch about them the same way they do because they got rid of the Eldar Fate dice. Get rid of the Miracle Dice. Give sisters, do you know what? You could have, this might be totally busted, but I don't care. This is what I'm going with. This is my choice. I would say that the Sisters of Battle army rule should be Shield of Faith. This is where everything gets the 6-up ward save, right? Across the board. Maybe some units like Seraphim can get a 5-up ward save. Okay? But the army rule becomes everyone gets a 6-up ward save. A 6-up invulnerable save. But if you choose to get it, then your opponent gets to pick who gets first or second turn. Kind of like stealing the whole praying mechanic from trying to steal the whole praying mechanic from Bretonnians. Now, it could be an invulnerable save. It could be it's a 6-up basic. It goes up to a 5-up if it's damage 2 or strength 5 or something like that. Maybe you make it a feel no, maybe you make it a feel no pain because Bretonnians get armor saves and ward saves. So maybe Sisters of Battle should get armor saves and then Shield of Faith saves. You can tweak it a little bit, but the Shield of Faith should be the thing that they get, but they should have to pray to get it. Take the system for Bretonnians, apply it here. Work out the kinks along the way. You get your armor saves and your Shield of Faith saves. That's how I'm saying it, okay? So that's what I would do. Show that their faith is so strong. But you only get it if you potentially give up first turn, or your opponent might make you go first, depending on what the terrain's like. All right? So that's what I would do in terms of army rule. Give them a Shield of Faith. Make it, if you don't know what the Bretonnian one is, by the way, everyone gets a 6-up ward save. In Old World, you get armor saves and ward saves and regen. So you get the stack. Regen's basically feel no pain, right? Whereas obviously in 40k, you get armor or invuln. So you're giving it. So what you do is you emulate it by making it a save you get in addition. So that, because obviously if you made it just an invulnerable save, it would be just fundamentally worse than it is now. And I acknowledge that. I understand that. And that would just be a straight up nerf to the whole army, which would be bad. So what I'm saying is we don't nerf it. You can have your armor saves and your ward saves and you feel no pain, but you get something like a Shield of Faith save, but you have to give up that very good thing of, potentially getting first or, in 40k getting second. But you could make it as powerful as the Bretonnian one. You could be look, it's It's a 6-up army-wide all the time. And maybe some people can get it up to a 5-up. And maybe you can have a thing where against, for infantry, if they get hit by, damage 2, it goes up to a 5-up. Maybe if you, for a vehicle, if you get hit by like strength 12 or higher, it goes to a 5-up for them. You can have you play around a little bit. Maybe that's too powerful. You leave it 6-up, but you get the principle. I'm not a details guy. You guys can work out the details. That's my big picture idea. That's how I fundamentally fix sisters in terms of the army rules. Fuck off miracle dice, shield of faith. Let's make that better. All right. I wouldn't have everyone having the 6-up. Shield of faith wouldn't be. You have a 6-up invulnerable and a shield of faith save. You've got your armor saves. Some characters are also going to have invulnerable saves. You no longer have the army-wide 6-up invulnerable save. That gets replaced by the shield of faith saves, and you can take those in addition, like a ward save in Old World, is what I'm saying. All right, just to be clear. Now, in terms of going through the points. Fundamentally, I think we need to be cutting. But making sisters, make them cheaper by, I would say, 30%. But make them 30% less capable. I don't know, Battle Sisters, okay, maybe 30% is too much. But Battle Sisters should be 90 points. 50, a Battle Sister squad should be 90 points. But you need to basically tone down because they've only got fucking bolters, man. At the end of the day, I think you cut Battlers down to 90 points, but you basically the 1 wound 3-up save fucking sisters. Do sticky objectives. Make it do you know what I mean? Get rid of that shit. So yeah, I'm just saying. They've no longer got rerolls or anything. They've no longer got just picking dice. We need to get these guys back down to where Space Marine squad should be 140 points. A Guard squad should be 60 points. And these guys should be in the middle. That's kind of how I see it. All right, that's how I see it. Moving on. Adeptus Custodes. All right. How would I fix Adeptus Custodes? I would remove them from Warhammer 40k. They shouldn't be here. Get them back to guard. They've got to go and guard the Emperor's throne because the Grey Knights are coming along and they're eyeing them up. Okay. No. So, the problem with Adeptus Custodes is that you're never going to get Adeptus Custodes right. No matter what I suggest, you're never going to get Adeptus Custodes right. Because fundamentally, Adeptus Custodes, every single character is meant to feel like a mini... Every single model is meant to feel like a mini character. But the problem is that if you make every single model feel like a mini character, that it kind of makes the individual Custodian squads just such a fucking chore to face against. Oh, can you pass this many, can you pass this many 4-ups? Yay or nay? Becomes it almost becomes like just a stat check army. So it's really difficult with Custodes because on the one hand you want to make them feel like super duper characters, but on the other hand, when you do that, all you end up with an army that feels more an army that feels weirdly grindy and attritional to play against. It's a really, really hard one. So that's why Custodes are either on the shelf or off the shelf. They're either super good or basically super bad. They're kind of like Imperial Knights. I don't know quite how you could do it with Custodes, but I do. This is a very me idea, but I think that maybe you make the Custodian Guard feel as good as they are. And the Custodian Ward, you make the Custodian Wardens and the Custodian Guard feel proper, but you make it quite difficult to run full armies of them. You can do it, you're not stopping people from it, but you give them some actually decent alternative, cheaper troops. So a good example of this would be hey, let's make Custodian Guard 250 points for 5 guys, 50 points a model and make them fucking balls out like epic. But maybe none of the custodian units are battle line. Something like that. And instead, what you bring in something like the Lucifer Blacks. Or, if you don't want to do it that way, you actually expand on the Sisters of Silence. But I don't know, man. Maybe Warhammer players are just be like, oh, I don't want girls in my army. I don't fucking know. After the whole female Custodes like debacle, the moment that GW makes Sisters of Silence more relevant, people are going to start going woke. It's James Woke Shop and all that kind of bollocks, which is a real shame because it's had a. I think having the Custodes be like super fucking elite, and you're not stopping people from running them, but you're really not going to get many of them. And a great way of like running them is like you have your Custodes squads be absolute fucking badasses, but you get a bit more efficiency by making the shit munchers more interesting. I think that's the way I would go with it. So what you do is you make the Custodes feel proper, and then you give them some good shit munchers. And that's how I would fix Custodes. And whether that's via making, the Vigilators basically like Guardsmen equivalent, like Scion equivalent, letting them take like Scions and stuff like that as like Lucifer Blacks, whatever it may be. Like, exactly. Like the Sisters of Silence are meant to be super duper elite as well. So that's a good point, simple logic. So I think the way I would do it is I would expand the Custodes. Firstly, and I say this wholeheartedly, all this shit should come in plastic. Everything that's Forge World right now, GW, to make all of that in plastic. Second thing I would do is let them take some Guardsman or Scion equivalent shit in there. Give them some good shit munchers, but make the Custodes feel like Custodes. But make it like, maybe you put like hard limits on things. Sounds crazy, but like 0 to 2 Custodian Guards, 0 to 1 Custodian Wardens. But make it so like, okay, if you want to, you can absolutely max out on Custodes, but it's going to be a very elite army and you can't take like 6 fucking squads of Custodian Guard or anything like that. And you make them really good, but there's like hard limits on things. And then you incentivize them to have efficient shit munchers. And you give them bonuses for taking the shit munchers. That's how I would do it. All right. So a couple of ways of doing it, but I think you need to bring all the shit into plastic, firstly. And secondly, I think you need to give them some competent shit munchers, but really, really limit the Custodes. But not so much that Custodes players like, oh, I can't even play Custodes in my Custodes army anymore. Just like, you can do it, but we're trying to like incentivize you to go for a bit more of a balanced force. Okay, it's kind of like, put it this way: forever you've been able to run like a pure Terminator army, but it's always had downsides. That's kind of the vibe I'm going for, like serfs, something like that. Maybe for like every serf unit you can get like a Custodes unit, but then maybe there's like a detachment that you don't have that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not a details guy. That's the vibe I want to fix. That's how I want to fix Custodes. Okay. Many people may disagree with me, but that's fine. So, Admech. Okay. So Admech are really easy. The way I would fix Admech is if Sisters are somewhere between Guards and Space Marines, Admech should be somewhere between Guard and Sisters. It should go Guard are the fucking Horde guys. Admech are pretty hordy. Sisters are semi-elite. So it goes Admech, it goes Guard full Horde, Admech semi-Horde, Sisters semi-elite, Marines elite, Custodes very elite. That's kind of how it goes. Now, how I would fix Admech, and again, this is not going to be super popular in terms of like, real points and stuff. Again, 3D print shit. Get third-party alternative models. Do a bit of kit bashing. I don't fucking know. Like, we're not taking money into account here. We're taking vibes into account. So what I would do is I would basically make Admech models in many ways like Guardsmen. I'd make them feel, I'd make them like Guard equivalents in almost every single way, except they should get really good around their tech priests. Tech priests should... the whole canticle thing is like really... I don't know, man. The whole canticle thing is fucky wookie. It's like, oh yeah, just like pick the army-wide buff. Just fucky wookie. Bollocks of that. Each tech priest should give out like an aura effect. So like one's going to improve like the number of attacks, one's going to improve like your weapon skill, one's going to improve like your ballistic skill, something like that. And it's an aura. So unlike guard orders where it's like pick one unit and they get it, these guys can splash it out. And then maybe like their like ability each turn is the tech priest can do like long range. So even if you're not in the aura, you can be like, I'm going to do that to like 24 inches away. I'm going to do that, across the side of the board. But basically, the Skitarii should be kind of shit unless they're around the tech priests, and the tech priests should be kind of like the ones that are actually directing them. That's the way it should be. How I would have it is you make them semi-hoardy, but it's going to sound kind of crazy. You make them a bit like guard, but you make them like guard's fucking Looney Tune wacky racers cousin. So guard is all going to be... So the way you distinguish them from guard is you make them like Skaven. Admech should be the Skaven of 40k. They should be wacky and crazy. Their technology should be going all over the fucking place. But if it goes off, it should be amazing. And they are, without their leaders, they're like not much to write home about. You could really make it like they're like leadership fucking 8. Like they're just like 8+. It's like, what the fuck's going on? They're like worse leadership than a fucking guardsman. But when they're around their leaders, they get a lot better. But their technology, guard tech should be like reliable, but not as powerful. Admech should have like Rift Tech, like Tesla cannons from Conflict 47 and stuff like that. That's how I would fix Admech. Titans, I'd make Titans unbelievably good, but I'd make every single one like just over 2,000 points. So they're only really for like Apocalypse games. Or I'd give them 2 stat lines, one for normal games for balance and one for like fun games for when you're just going mental at Apocalypse. I actually don't have any issues with where Eldar are right now. They got rid of Fate Dice. Good. I like Battle Focused the way it is. Good. Eldar are quite elite, quite fast. I have no real problems with the vibes of Eldar. I'm sure there are some balance things that need to be tweaked up and down. But personally, I have no real problems with the vibes of Eldar. Like, I'm happy to take suggestions from chat, but I do feel like Eldar I've no personal dramas with them. Guard. Okay, the big one, right? The fucking big one. They have made Guard entirely too elite. And frankly, Games Workshop, I really don't care about you making as a Horde army because War Games Atlantic are gonna sort us out. So they have made Guard, frankly, far too elite. There's no other way around it. We're not, where Guard is right now is where I think Admech should be. And Guard should be way hordier than this. First thing they need to do is fill in a lot of the gaps. They need to bring things like conscripts back. They need to bring infantry squads that can take a heavy weapon team. I don't give a fuck if you just, maybe Games Workshop. Here's an idea. Take this one to the fucking bank, GW. Maybe Games Workshop, the way you differentiate Kriegers and Cadians, which aren't that different. Oh, it's a 10-man or 20-man squad, and you get special weapons. There's not much difference between the two. Maybe the way you differentiate them is the Cadians are the ones that can have heavy weapon teams inside the squads. Maybe that's the way you differentiate them. Maybe that's how you bring them back into fucking contention and make them actually unique, not barely different from Kriegers. So you need to bring back nestled heavy weapons. You just need to sort the fucking infantry side. Frankly, Games Workshop, I'm okay with how you've handled the tank side of things. We've got Dawns, we've got Leman Russes. I'd like a plastic Macarius, please. We've got 3 different dedicated transports. I'd like a Storm Chimera, please. I'd like give me a Centaur, and we'll be pretty decent, but it's all like little things. Make the Sentinels be able to take 3 in a squadron again. What the fuck are you playing out there? But generally, GW, I'm pretty happy with how my Guard Armored Core is going on, but you need to fucking fix the Infantry Core. You need to fix it. You need to fix it now. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear about it. And also, let Commissars order around Ogryn. Like, I'm sorry, but you've made Guard entirely too elite. It's completely fucking diddling the vibe of the faction. And Guard player, there are 2 kinds of Guard player. There's Tank Guard player and there's Infantry Guard players. And right now, the Tank Guard players are fine and the Infantry Guard players are really, really phenomenally unfucking happy. One of the most iconic ways of playing Guard is being able to throw waves after waves after waves of infantry at your opponent. And frankly, there's some big fucking gaps in that. I need a Catachan. You bring the Catachan Colonel back in plastic, please and thank you. Every single regiment should have a plastic standalone officer and a command squad. And then we should have conscripts, which can be led by commissars. Commissars should be able to join conscripts and Ogryn. They should be able to join everyone, including conscripts and Ogryn and Bulgrin. You don't even need to have commissars or be able to do like take aim or anything like that. It'd be nice, but yeah, they should be able to. But I would happily have the commissar be the generic officer who can join anyone. And his whole thing is he does summary execution, 1 order, he can do all 6 orders, and he can join anybody. So KD Castellans have an advantage over him because they give sustained hits and 2 orders and all that kind of stuff. You need to make the infantry and the officer corps is all fucky wookie GW. You need to sort the officer corps out. You need to sort the infantry corps out. We're fine for tanks for the time being. Black Templars, you need to make Black Tide properly viable again. There should be no point in the existence of Black Templars when you can't run 100 Black Templar infantry and in 5 blobs and have a character join each one, including Helbrecht, Grimaldus, and the Emperor's Champion. That is how you should fit. No matter what else you do, no matter what you do, even if you have to nerf things a little bit, I don't care. There should be no point when you can't run 5 bricks of Templars with a character in each one, including the 3 specials. Okay? It's that simple. I don't want to argue about it. I don't want to hear about it. Make it happen. It's that simple. Everything else, you can, all the other people want to fuck around with being elite Black Templars. Fine. That is the first armor list which is possible in every single fucking Black Templars release. No questions about it. Blood Angels. Okay, well, firstly, we'll start with another range refreshed, and you can get it right this time. Firstly. Secondly, you're making the Blood Angel units feel like fucking pussies. Okay? I don't want Death Company to be assault intercessors with a slightly different ability and a slightly different color scheme. Okay? Death Company should be able to go toe-to-toe with Khorne Berserkers in terms of pure blenderness. Okay? And I don't know, man. I don't know. I felt like they used to be able to. This is how it should work. Death Company, I'm just going to say, it's going to be a controversial opinion, shouldn't be getting Power Fists or Thunderhammers or anything like that. Death Company, this is how I would do it. Death Company should be shitloads of low strength, middling AP attacks. I'm talking I'm happy for 5, 6 attacks per guy. Something mental. Something they touch light infantry and they evaporate. Okay? And Sanguinary Guard should basically be an entire squad of Thunderhammers. And the idea is your Sanguinary Guard are your melee anti-tank, and your Death Company are your melee anti-infantry. That's the way it should be. You might not like it, you might not agree with it, but that's the way it should fucking be. No, that's the way it should fucking be. And there should be a whole, like, the whole thing, like, how I would also have it. If I was being very facetious, I would have it where you don't even get to pick what your death company are. We're going back to 2nd edition, and you roll a dice for every model in your army, and whoever rolls like a 1 gets formed into like a death company squad, and they just yeet it themselves across the board. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, so you're going to make the shit unit shitter? No. I don't think that would make the shit unit shitter. I mean, it might do. But I'm not I'm not a details guy. My whole thing is you take a squad of 10 death. This is how I would do it, right? You take 10 death company. They get bolt pistols and Astartes chainswords. But the base strength 5. They're all AP 1. They get 6 attacks each, but they hit on, like, as crazy as it sounds, they get 6 attacks each, but they hit on 4s with full rerolls. Or they get 6 attacks each, hit on 3s, no rerolls. And you make them quite cheap. And they're just like, that's what I would do. Like, Death Company should be just blending. But they shouldn't be particularly tough. I don't think, I mean, they should be, like, a bit tough. But, the other way you go with it is you basically make Death Company, like, really tough because they don't give up. Because they're like, I'm not going to give up. I'm never going to feel pain. I'm going to, like, fight horrors to the last breath. Maybe that's the way you do it. But I think you might disagree with me here, but I honestly feel like at the moment, Death Company don't really feel like very scary, but Death Company should feel scary. Maybe you make them not quite as blendy, you make them a bit tankier or whatever. I don't know. But how I would do it is you know what? I'm not being swayed by chat. Death Company should blend infantry. Sanguinary Guard should blend tanks. If it's the fault of if you say Death Company is shit because, no one's taking tanks, that is the product of the game being bad, and that's not my fault personally. And also, I've also introduced, like, Admech being hordier, Sisters being hordier. We're getting fucking shit munchers for Custodes. I am at the same time as advocating for Death Company. See, I'm not thinking of these things in isolation, boys. I'm not thinking about these things in isolation. I'm thinking about the big picture. Told you I'm a big picture guy. I'm going to give Death Company more things to blend and make them better at blending those things. See? That's what I'm going to do. I'm not just going... Death Company shouldn't be able to handle, like, elite... shouldn't be able to easily handle, like, elite infantry or monsters or vehicles like that. They should be given a chainsaw to be strapped to the fucking... Because why would you send them into battle with a fucking chapter fucking relic thunderhammer? That's really important when you know they're going to die. Chain a fucking chainsaw to the hand. Chain a fucking bolt pistol. Even if you don't even fucking give them the bolt pistol. Fuck that. Chain 2 chainsaws to the hands and send them in. And they just do this until they go down. That's how I would do it. I'm not talking about the meta we're in right now. I'm fixing the whole game. Anyway, like I said, it's the way I would fix it. It's the way I would do it. Demons save. I would say I'm not a fan of Greater Demon Monster Mash. I find it boring. I find it's like playing Knights. It's like playing Knights. I find it boring. Okay? I think Greater Demons should be cool centerpieces of armies, but I don't think they should be the whole army, frankly. I would base how I would fix demons. I would basically massively de-incentivize them from just taking big fucking monsters. Demon armies should look like a greater demon with a bunch of minions around them, which they're puppeting. That's how it should be. Chaos Knight. Actually, if whole player wants armies to be full send hordes, more news at 11. Dude, I'm not asking for everyone to become a horde army. I'm asking for people to actually take more than just a few big fucking models. I'm actually being pretty reasonable. I didn't say give chat to serve to Blood Angels. Think about that. Right now, the pendulum has swung too far. No, don't bring the Force Org chart back. The Force Org chart's out of date. If you want to bring list limitations in, you bring in percentages like in Old World. No. Actually, doesn't fix anything. Bring back minimum 2 troop squads, doesn't fix anything. All people do is take the bare 2 minimum troops and then they go back to doing Monster Mash. I've seen it for years, mate. There's no point in bringing the Force Org chart back. It's out of date. It's not fit for purpose. Percentages. If you're going to do it, you do percentages. But I'm not even saying, I would bring percentages in, but the problem is, mate, is every single army is just a few big fucking centerpieces. Or just a few, like, elite squad. Armies don't look like fucking armies anymore. They just look like a collection of models. What I'm saying is we need to make armies look like armies again. Okay? A great and clean one on the table shouldn't be, no, it's 1 of 3, 1 of 4. It should be, fuck, a great and clean one. I'd make all the greater demons as good as knights. Like big fucking knights. Like the Castellan variant. I'd make them all as good as that. But I'd make them limited to like, you can take a maximum of like 2 or 3 in an army, and the rest has to be filled in with shit munchers. That's how I'd do it. You got to bring some like limits back in or percentages back in. Yeah. Chaos Knights. You're all gonna laugh at me at this one. I think they need peasants. I think Knights and Chaos Knights need peasants. You need to make them like Bretonnians, where you can run a full knight army, but you've got peasants to bulk them out as well. That's the way I would do it. I don't think knights should be in the game. I know that sounds like not in a horrible way, but I don't think knights in their current format work. They're like Custodes. They're either broken or trash. And the reason is there's not enough moving pieces. Now, I don't know how you fix it. But the only way I can think of fixing it is you make these armies way more fleshed out. Knights should be... Honestly, knights should be allies only. Knights should just be allies only. They've been in the game for what feels like over 10 years now, and they've never... Pure Knights has never been balanced. It's either fucked or it's fucked. One way or the other. It's either fucking you or it's getting fucked. After 10 years, I think we kind of have to admit we got to go back to the drawing board. Either flesh them out to a full army, full Bretonnianize them, or they become allies only. Chaos Space Marines, I have no issue with where Chaos Space Marines are right now. I think they've got a good mixture of vehicles and elite infantry, regular infantry, horde infantry. I think Chaos Space Marines are fine. Dark Angels. So the way I would fix Dark Angels, frankly, is I would stop making them rely on the fucking Lion, because this isn't Codex Dark Angels. This is Codex Lionel Johnson, and it's a fucking joke. Honestly, the only way I think you fix Dark Angels is you basically dial the clock back to when they had actual like full. You either dial the clock back or GW needs to speed up with the addition of gain. Dark Angels, you can't run Ravenwing anymore. You know, you can't run green. I mean, you can run. You need Dark Angels need a lot of the missing units back, or they need new ones to replace the missing ones. Like, it's that simple. Make Ravenwing great again. Dreadwing, I think, is in a good place right now, or Deathwing, I think is in a half decent place right now. Greenwing's in a totally fine place right now, but make Ravenwing great again. That's how I fix Dark Angels. Death Guard, I'm totally okay with where Death Guard are, but frankly, Poxwalkers should be battle line for everyone. Like, not one shitty, wanky detachment. I don't mind the way Death Guard spread the contagion round. That's fine. I've no issue with the way the mechanics work. If I was to change anything about Death Guard, I wouldn't be against bringing back a shitload of Feel No Pain for them, but make it like Feel No Pain that could be overwritten by... I would introduce an instant death or equivalent mechanic to the game so that you can be much more liberal with Feel No Pain. But I would introduce this a way where basically every single save can be overruled. So I would have armor saves which can be wiped out, Feel No Pain which can be overwhelmed by a weapon that's too powerful. Either its damage value is higher than your wounds value, or its strength is double your toughness, whatever it might be. The only thing I would say which couldn't have that is an invulnerable save, and that should be max of a 5-up. So what I would do is I would make Death Guard... they can have like Feel No Pain everywhere, but people, if they just bring strong enough guns, then they don't get the Feel No Pain. I wouldn't take that away from... I'd give them that in addition to what they have. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like Death Guards are quite tough, but no, it doesn't. It feels like fucking Death Shroud are quite tough. I feel like Death Shroud are quite tough. I feel like the rest of them aren't as tough as they probably should be. Deathwatch, I would give them everything. Everything? Everything. Deathwatch are really, really cool. Deathwatch should be in between. Deathwatch and Grey Knights should be in between Marines and Custodes. And you know what? I'd actually give them buffs for fighting fucking aliens. I'd make them totally competent, but with some cool gear that makes them good into aliens. Drukhari. Okay, so A, we need to make sure they've got more data sheets than the fucking Votaan. B, I think we need to... Covens is fine. I'd bring back Covens because I don't like people... I don't like Covens personally, but also I don't think... Just because I don't like it, I don't think it should be taken away from them. And but my preferred Drukhari playstyle is loads of boats with bastards inside. That's the way I want to see them play. Emperor's Children. Oh my god. I mean, I would dial these guys up, not up to 11, not 12, up to fucking 20. They just need so much more. I've talked about this before. They need like a Berserker equivalent, but like they've got no armor, but like a 3-up Feel No Pain or something mental, but no armor because they're just like running forward trying to feel anything, like getting limbs blown off. They're like, yes, finally. I've talked about those guys before. Give them some proper cultists. They're like the only guys that don't have like proper cultists. What the fuck? They just need fleshing out. They need fleshing out a lot more, and they need a Marine unit where each Marine unit embodies one of the like 7 deadly sins. So you should have like giant fucking like fat blob like dudes who are really slow but really tough, and that should be like gluttony. And you should have dudes who have got like really, really good like the Flawless Blades are good because they represent like pride. Like pride comes before the fall kind of thing. Yeah, so that you'd have like basically have like 7 different kinds of they should have 7 different unique kinds of unit, whatever it may be. Vehicles, demon engines, infantry, but each one should represent one of the 7 deadly sins. That's how I would do it. Genestealer Cult. Oh, right. So these guys need a fucking fundamental rewrite for the ground up. Let's bring the blips back. Let's bring the whole they're going to be all over you for 3 turns vibe back. And then let's make it, but if you can survive those, make them like a really good pressure army. Make them a guard pressure army. Okay? But basically go back to 8th edition. Basically go back to 8th edition. Because 8th edition Genestealer Cult were literally perfect. And they've never got them right since. So can we go back to 8th edition, please? The only exception to that is, can we go back to 8th edition, but not the bit where, like, you didn't want to take Genestealers in a Genestealer Cult army? That was dog shit. Can we have the 8th edition shit remastered, please, for the benefit of hindsight? That would be great. Grey Knights. So, I mean, first thing we do is we rewrite the Terminus Decree so it's not a giant steaming pile of wank. Second thing we do with Grey Knights is we add more infantry. No. Actually, the opposite. Grey Knights need some fucking tanks, boys. Because Grey Knights aren't, correct me if I'm wrong, but Grey Knights aren't like a codex supplement. They're just a full-blown codex. So I don't see a Predator here. But why can't we get a Predator with a big fuck-off side cannon on it? Like, can someone explain to me why we can't get a silencer Predator, a side cannon Predator, a fucking side flamer Predator, like that kind of shit? Can someone explain to me why we can't have that? You know? Like, let's take all the Space Marine shit, right? Like, all the Space Marine vehicles, bring them over and load them up with the fucking psi weapons. Also, if GW is also, let's actually split out the psi weapon, the melee psi weapons. So have like, you know, if GW doesn't want to have like, I mean, if you had granular points, this would be really simple, wouldn't it? But if GW is not going to do that, we need Strike Marines with swords, Strike Marines with halberds, Strike Marines with like hammers. But they don't have to be like Strike Marines. You could have like, you know, you could have like, you could mix it up. So maybe like the Inceptors get the blades and the regular Strike Marines get the halberds. And then maybe you have a new squad that comes in that gets like the Thunder Hammers. And maybe you have it so the Paladins and the, you don't want to like invalidate people's existing shit, right? But like the Paladins and stuff could get, like the Paladins and Terminators could like pick whatever they want. Or something like that. But yeah, like let's try. You know, like I said, granular points. We could just fix all the weapons very quickly. Also, can we bring? Yeah, this goes for Thousand Suns and it goes for Grey Knights. Can we bring magic back properly? You know, it's actually a fucking joke that we don't have like a battle of wills. Like Thousand Suns versus Grey Knights should be. There should be some way of representing these people trying to get spells off against each other. Like, if you play against Grey Knights of Thousand Suns, be prepared to like struggle to get your spells off. But likewise, as a Grey Knight player, be prepared to struggle to get your spells off. Yeah. Like we need to bring magic back, okay? We need to bring psychic powers back. It's just rubbish. Imperial Agents. I actually have a really easy way of fixing these guys. Give them a Predator, give them a Land Raider, and give them Imperial Stormtroopers, and you pretty much fix them because you give them a medium vehicle. They've already got a couple of transports. You give them a heavy vehicle, a medium vehicle, and some ship and some actually half decent damage dealing infantry, and then they can ally knights in if they want a fucking super heavy. Leagues of Votaan. I'm okay with where Votaan are. I had a lot of complaints about them. They got their second wave. I feel like they're quite nice now. I would like something between a Hecaton. I like a tank between a Hecaton and a Sagittar. I'd like a medium vehicle, please. A medium bubble vehicle. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy. Yeah. Necrons. Can we make Silvertide viable? Necrons should kind of be, I don't know, man. Like, they should kind of be like Xenos Death Guards. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think Silvertide should be the only way they play, but I think it should be our way they play. I'm not totally okay with, like, a bunch of shit munchers hitting on, not the Warriors hitting on 4s. But again, like, do what we do with Black Templars. You should be able to run 100 Warriors with a character in each one, and that to be, like, decent. And everyone gets lethal hits now, which is sad, because that used to be a Necron-only thing.
Yes, boss.
Yeah. Also give Imperial Agents an rule. That's true. Simple logic. Yeah, like, I'm not overly against where Necrons are right now, but I just never see anyone running Necron Warriors outside of, like, 1 or 2 gigablobs. I don't know, man. Like, Necrons in some ways should be kind of like the Xenos Space Marines, with a little dash of, like, you know, with reanimation being kind of cool. And I like reanimation, but They need to bring reanimation back. Reanimation's fine. We just need to be able... They basically kind of need to be like Space Marines with a pinch of Death Guard and a pinch of Horde, and then they're good. Orks. I mean... The problem with Orks is that Games Workshop took one of the most like kit bashable, flexible, customizable armies they've ever created, and then basically put them in a little box and took away all the toys. Firstly, Green Tide comes back. Secondly, looted tanks come back. Thirdly, thirdly, for like the 7th time, we bring the Ork War Boss on bike back. We need war buggies, scorchers. You know, orks are kind of like guard. They've just got so many. Orks are like guard, but orks are actually even worse off than guard are. I think orks in many ways are the army that's been in my opinion, orks are the army which has been fucking diddled the most by 10th edition. Because they were an army that from their inception were designed in mind with the players kind of doing a lot of the work when it came to like providing models for the army. And then Games Workshop's policy of if we don't make models for it, you don't get it, has basically gone through this faction like a fucking wildfire. And it's a goddamn graveyard. Orks don't have any decent long-range anti-tank. Orks don't have any decent like armor anymore. Orks are just like a bunch of infantry with no anti-tank running around. They've barely got any fucking anti-tank in melee, for fuck's sake. Like Orks are an army right now which is suffering unbelievably, and they're suffering because they're an army which isn't designed around, you can only buy our models. Orks need to just get the freedom back. They need to get the way GW fixes Orks is they kind of let the players lead the way. And do you want to know an example of how far Orks have fallen? No one does a fucking war anymore in a tournament. We talked about like people getting like psyoped by GWs, like being meta chasers and all that kind of stuff. I think Orks, if you want the most evidence for that, I haven't heard an Ork player do a war in a tournament hall in like 3 years. No one does it anymore. No one does it here anymore. Everyone thinks they're too cool for it. It's fucking depressing, man. Mad Larkin, you wish they'd fucking stop. Bro, you think that until they actually stop doing it. And let me tell you, as someone over here on this side of the pond, let me tell you, man, I miss the days of the whole fucking tournament hall being rattled. Chandeliers, fucking hell. The light fixtures being rattled by people wiring. The fucking Ork community got psyoped, man. They got psyoped. They got embarrassed to do a fucking war. Yeah. We need to make Orks. Make Orks war again. It's that simple. Codex Space Marines. Okay, so I'm just gonna fully unleash my bias here. Can we just like make Firstborn come back? Like, okay, I think there should, just bring Firstborn back. I like them, and this is my video, so I'm gonna say I want Firstborn back. It's that simple. Like make them, just make Firstborn back. That's all give me a Firstborn detachment, GW. Just give me a Firstborn detachment, man. What's so wrong with that? Bring all the good shit back that you got rid of. Assault Marines, all that shit. Remaster all the Firstborn options. Make them great again. Give me a detachment, and I'm happy. The other option you've got, GW, is if you're not going to bring Firstborn back, can you make Deathwatch the Firstborn Codex? And you make you bring all the firstborn shit back over there. And the lore justification is that they're not really making new firstborn anymore. Everyone's going Primaris. So all of the firstborn from all of the different chapters, rather than being like spread out like disparately across all the different chapters, basically all like, the vast majority of them, you call it, come with like some fucking like sanction or like decree for it. You could call it like, I don't know, like they call it like the firstborn decree or something. And basically all of the veterans, with the rise of like the Orks coming back, with like, apparently Orks gonna be the big bad in like 11th edition, with the Orks coming back, with the fucking Tyranids eating everybody, like it, the Imperium realizes they need a much greater expanded Deathwatch. And so what they do is like, okay, we need a really veteran fighting force that can basically we can just throw at the Orks and the Tyranids to basically handle it. So we're going to get all of the accumulated knowledge, all of the veteran firstborn from all of the chapters and send them to the Deathwatch. And then basically, all of the firstborn shit that got taken away, we bring all of that back, but better. And we restore Deathwatch to their glory of like 8th, 9th edition, massively customizable, and like make them like as customizable as OG Orks, all that kind of stuff. Fucking give them the proper treatment and go, hey, firstborn players, we got you. Here's a fucking codex, and so the firstborn players are happy. Deathwatch players are happy, as you've actually put the effort into the fucking lore. GW, you got to stop putting effort in there again, and that's how you do it. If you don't want, and so that way, GW, you can go fucking nuts, go full turbo Spurg on the Space Marines, make everything Primaris to your heart's content, and everyone's happy, everyone's serviced. That's it. Deathwatch become the firstborn faction, and you treat them with respect, and you upgrade the aesthetic there and everything. You remaster them and all that kind of stuff over years, and that's the way to fix it. That's the way I'd fix it. In terms of how I would fix Space Marine rules, Oath of Moment is a giant bag of shit. It's a giant bag of shit. Combat doctrines are a giant bag of shit. Okay, can we call it with like the once per game? Can we call it with the 1 unit per fucking turn? Can we just call it with that shit? Like, I don't know what the alternative is, but I'm just telling you, Oath of Moment is unimaginative and a giant bag of shit. And Combat doctrines are a giant bag of shit. Alright? Space Wolves. Is it Codex Space Wolves or is it Codex Supplements? Because truth be told, if Space Wolves, can these guys not get access to the main Codex anymore? I feel like they must be able to, right? Someone's going to have to tell me in chat about this. Because I thought that these guys could still get like Predators and stuff. But if they can't take presence of them, we need to... It is a supplement. Okay. So I'm not that bothered about Space Wolves. Frankly, you can take them in a bit of a horde, which is kind of cool. And honestly, Space Wolf players seem kind of happy with Space Wolves. I don't really care about Space Wolves. Maybe just make the Wolfen not look fucking stupid and call it a day. Yeah. Tau, easy. Auxiliaries, please. GW, give me like a bag of chips at a pint and an afternoon. And I'll fucking come up with like 6 auxiliary races for you. You know, like it's just so obvious. Like, it's just so fucking obvious. Just make the Tau the covenant of this fucking universe. All right. 1,000 Suns. See, I think 1,000 Suns are fine in terms of units. I think 1,000 Suns are fine in terms of vibe. They get to do magic. I kind of said a lot of what I wanted to say with them with Grey Knights. But basically, we need to bring back the psychic phase or make, if it's even not phase, we need to make like psychic just feel more back and forth and shit. I just think GW's obviously like taken them round back and fucking shot them like Old Yeller, but generally I'm okay with with the vibe of 1,000 Suns. I just think they've just been nerfed, but that's not really what we're looking at today. Tyranids. Oh, just let me swarm. Just let me swarm. I'm totally happy with the wide variety of units that Tyranids have available. Totally happy with it. But I just need to swarm. I am a Tyranid and I need to swarm. World Eaters. How can I upset Swords and Smith 87 the most? No, I think World Eaters are really good at running in and charging and beating the piss out of people. I think my issue with World Eaters is more to do with the fundamental core designs of like 10th edition. Like, oh, my World Eaters are going to like sit here and do this objective and deploy this teleporter home. And yeah, I don't think there's many problems with World Eaters. I think it's more that the core game makes World Eaters feel less like World Eaters, but World Eaters themselves are doing a pretty good job of feeling like World Eaters. That's the way I see it. And that is Mordian's hot take on 40k 10th edition and how I would fix every single faction with my big pictures idea. Basically, in summary, GW has spent far too much time ripping units and playstyles away from factions and making every army play the same. And what I want to do is make every army feel distinctive, and I want every army to play the way that I want every army to pass the vibe check. That's what I want. Genestealer Cult should be ambushing, swarming. Oh, they've run out of steam. Tyranids, generally fine, but they need to be able to swarm. World Eaters, generally fine, but the core game makes them feel less like they should. 1,000 Suns, just make them feel a bit. Make 1,000 Suns fine. Let Magic do better. Let Magic feel better. Tau, more auxiliaries. Space Wolves, no change. Space Marines, please give me more Firstborn. Orks, massive fundamental fix throughout. Necrons, just make Silvertide okay. Otherwise, they're pretty alright. Leagues of Votaan, fine. Knights, remove. Agents, flesh out. Agents need like a bit of armor, just need a pinch of armor, and they'll be okay. Oh, sorry. Agents, pinch of armor, and then let's make pinch of armor, and then either bring granular points back and make inquisitorial warbands seem be unbelievably flexible, or bring in like 3 or 4 different data sheets for inquisitorial warbands where each one feels very, very different. Because every Inquisitor's retinue should be unique, not copy-paste. Grey Knights, we need to start strapping unique Grey Knight weapons to things, make Psychic better, and make the combat weapons feel more unique. Genestealer Cult already covered. Ambush Children need things to represent the excess and deadly sins. GW needs to get the balls back with that. Drukhari, Dreadfleet better. Deathwatch, Firstborn Codex. I say Drukhari, Dreadfleet, Blackfleet better. Death Guard, generally fine, but I would like them to feel a bit, in some areas, a bit tougher and a bit slower, but then make it so that they're not fucked by being slower because of missions, core missions. Dark Angels, Ravenwing. Chaos Space Marines, fine. Chaos Knights, already covered that. Chaos Demons should be like each Greater Demon, no monster mash. Each Greater Demon should unlock other shit that you have to take, and each Greater Demon should feel like an Imperial Knight or Chaos Knight. Blood Angels, make Death Company and Sanguinary Guard a bit more defined in what they do. Black Templars, I want Black Tide. Guard, God, so much, but just sort the Infantry Corps and the Officer Corps out. Aeldari, generally fine, but just nerf them because I hate elves. Admech, Make them hoardy, but around their guys they get better. Around their leaders they get better. Custodes, more good shit munchers, but then make Custodes feel like Custodes make them very limited. And then the sisters. Oh, one thing I say with sisters, let's bring fucking Fraternis Militia in. It's GW, it's 2025. Stop being so fucking backwards and saying women have to be segregated from men. Let's get some fucking Fraternis Militia going in here, man. Jesus Christ. GW is like genuinely like unbelievable with how they are with that. Oh yeah, and bring the Thunderbolt back just to make Bad Rabbit happy. There you go. There you go. All right. And that is how I would fix every single army. Mangarich Jabronsky, what the hell is wrong with elves? I mean, just always be nerfing elves. In every game system, no matter what, always nerf elves into the ground. Every elf army should feel like Wood Elves do in Old World. Shit. Because I am racist against elves. It's that simple. Humanity first. It's that... There you go. You know what? Actually, I'm not racist against elves. Because that would imply that elves are people, and they're not. The only thing worse than shit is elves. There you are. The only thing worse than boats is elves. Elves, bunch of bloody snotling fondlers. There you are. I think that was a perfectly balanced and reasonable take on every single faction. No bias whatsoever. I actually thought I was all right. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. And how would you fix each faction? There you are. There you are. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Redfield, 32, Jurgens, Miasma, Try Again, Bragg, RJ, Scorpion, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Nicholas Walsh, John Stubbs, Guardian, Varney, Sword, Fish Trombone, Picklock the Forged. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.